What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're here for a new Madden 25 rebuild. Our third rebuild. We've already rebuilt the New England Patriots and the Carolina Panthers. If you've missed those rebuilds, go check them out. They were absolute bangers. But today, this one paged me a little bit, so I had to put on the Eagles gear. But I have to admit, if you're looking at the scope of all the teams in Madden 25, which one could be in the discussion for like the funnest potential rebuild, you have to strongly consider the Washington Commanders. So looking at the snapshot of the Washington Commanders roster, their rankings aren't particularly great. Their salary cap for the state of their roster isn't great as well, but I do think they signed a couple veterans, short-term contracts. So I think the long-term health of the Commanders salary cap is looking pretty good. And obviously we're going to be operating this rebuild on a rookie contract for Jayden Daniels, which is going to be huge. As you can see, they're an 80 overall, which doesn't seem like a brutal rating, but when you understand that 77 is the lowest rated team in this game in the New York Giants, 80 is not that great. And you could definitely make the argument that probably a bottom 5 roster in the game, but you know what helps when you have a bottom 5 roster? Getting a roll of 5 hidden dev rookies from the 2024 NFL draft class, which is the most out of any team in Madden 25. All right, let's take a look here at the Commanders offense. And I'm cautiously optimistic about pretty much every position we got. In the O-line, you got Brandon Coleman, the athletic tackle at TCU, at left tackle Stromberg on the right side of 25 with a dev trade at guard. Now they got a lot of growth that needs to happen here. Low ratings, but the ceilings are there. Beyond once upon a time was regarded as the top center in college. Got drafted by the Cowboys, didn't work out there. Maybe a change of scenery is what he needs. Right-hand side, Wiley's kind of a stopgap until we can find a long-term solution. That could be Cosme, who has a very good rating, 88 overall. I'm sleeping on him. I know he played tackle as well. So I think this is going to be the kind of deal, depending on how free agency, depending on how the draft goes. If we can say, find a tackle, we'll keep him here. But if we can find a guard, maybe guard's BPA, we get a hidden dev guard at one of these drafts, we get Cosme back out to right tackle. That could totally be in play. As much as this pains me, as Zach Ertz is a Philadelphia Eagles legend, we got to go with Ben Sinnott starting at tight end, the rookie out of Kansas State. Has a higher ceiling at this point. Zach Ertz just would be, stunting his growth and development there a little bit. We got Scary Terry, Jahan Dotson at wide receiver. Upside. I mean, I could say for fans of the Eagles, the Giants, and the Cowboys, I don't think anybody dislikes Scary Terry. Awesome player. Has got kind of the shafted a little bit in his career with not great quarterback play. And I think if he had a really consistent starter for his 5 years in the league so far, I think he'd be more highly regarded. So he's a beast. It'll be cool to see how well he performs. And lastly, for the offense, the most important player, Jayden Daniels, quarterback at LSU, the reigning defending Heisman Trophy winner. He's a great quarterback prospect. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I remember watching him play for Arizona State as a true freshman, and he was like 170 pounds. He was like the skinniest quarterback. He was like Kevin Durant playing quarterback. And even then, it was still impressive. And then he ended up going to LSU. The rest is history. And I think from a Madden perspective, you get a second swing here of RG3, like a what-if RG3. RG3 would have had a little bit more throw power. I can't remember what his throw power. I feel like I want to say like 93, 94 back in the day. But you're getting a very similar, very high ceiling type playmaker here. 85 short accuracy, 85 throw on the run. Need to work on, his game, overall game. But I think what you're getting for the base of a 74 hidden dev franchise quarterback potential, you're getting a great player here in Jayden Daniels. And obviously, he's going to be our man for this rebuild. And I think we're going to do some pretty special things here today. Obviously, we got to put the C on his chest. Now, take a look at the Commanders' defense. I see some upside here for sure. We'll start in the secondary. You got Jeremy Chin, Jatavius Martin, Derek Force at safety. So 3 hidden devs at safety. You got Emmanuel Forbes, who did not have a particularly good rookie season. And there's always going to be the what-ifs about not getting Christian Gonzalez. But he is here, and there's still upside there for development. You got Sanders still, the rookie out of Michigan, 74 with the dev trait. You got my beloved Canadian Ben St-Juste here at corner as well. So there is definitely going to be an odd man out situation. It's probably going to be Jatavius Martin for the time being, because I think we got to start St-Juste, especially if he can get a little bit of dev trait. Maybe there's a little bit of Canadian bias going on here. But that secondary has some upside. The linebacking core, you get the veteran and Bobby Wagner. Obviously not going to be a long-term solution, but he's a good Band-Aid until we can draft a middle linebacker. You got Jamin Davis, who's a big-time athlete, looking to take another step up. And then definitely, I think, in terms of potential of going up and getting a bunch of dev trade increases and performing well, he certainly needs to be one of our top candidates. Frankie Louvu, the versatile player from the Carolina Panthers. He can rush the passer. He can play off ball. That versatility, along with, and you almost need to include him in our pass rush. You get Dorrance Armstrong, who followed Dan Quinn from the Dallas Cowboys, and I like Dan Quinn. Always liked Dan Quinn, obviously what he did with Seattle, most notably, in Dallas, and a little bit of Florida Gator bias there. Deron Payne and John Allen, veterans. Obviously, John Allen as an X factor, gonna have to be a big-time playmaker for us. And then they got Johnny Newton, Jerzon Newton out of Illinois, who's probably a first-round talent, fell in the draft due to injury concerns. I moved him to defensive end. Now, he's a big defensive end. He's 300 pounds. And in a perfect world, he would still be a D tackle. But I think Newton, Allen, Payne, Armstrong, and Louvu, those are our pass rush. These are the guys that we need to get on the field as much as possible. And I think long-term, the XP and experience that we're going to get by just having Johnny Newton playing out of position right now, when it comes time for him to be a successor to either Jonathan Allen or Deron Payne, depending on how those contract situations play out over the next couple seasons, I think that is going to be the best foot forward for this defense, thinking long-term. Might not work the best. He might not go off and get a bunch of sacks this year or be a contention for Defensive Rookie of the Year, but I think getting him on the field as a rookie is going to be very important for his long-term development. We're on an all-time run right now. As soon as I saw this drill, and we have Brandon Coleman, or if you are a... Oh, come on. No! That was gold! We had a chance. If you saw the RAS scores, you know what RAS scores is? Brandon Coleman had like a 10. He's one of the most athletic tackles of all time. That was my chance of getting a goal in this goddamn drill. Damn it. We're able to shift some of our depth here right away to get a third-round pick from the Denver Broncos. Broncos need corner help, so we got St. Juste, and we just had to figure out what we're going to do with Jatavius Martin. Young player, rookie contract with the dev trade. St. Juste, final year of his contract. Clelin Ferrell, only 27, 77. So that's a nice rotational pass rusher. Fits the scheme there in Denver. De'Ami Brown, solid rotational wide receiver. Some decent depth there for the Denver Broncos. We had to throw in a 6th-round pick this year to get this trade over the line, but happy that we're able to send out some guys that will, I can definitely see Ferrell and St. Juste starting for the Denver Broncos, and we're able to get some decent draft capital back in return. Holy, Martavis Bryant's on the Commanders? Huh. We'll keep him around for the memes. So the Commanders start year 1, the first game of the Jayden Daniels era, on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's see how that plays out. Oh, Jayden Daniels looks like $1 million out there. Loose, ready to slang it, ready to go for 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, 9 picks. Whoa, the first completion of Jayden Daniels' NFL career goes to the first catch of hopefully a safety net target for this whole rebuild's career in Ben Sinnott. That was bad. That could have been real bad. Oh, there we go to Christian McCaffrey's brother, Luke McCaffrey. Remember this rookie class who didn't have a dev trade, even though they got 5 rookies hitting devs. Luke McCaffrey also could develop into a nice player for us. We have him starting in the slot as a rookie. Ooh, what a throw! Jahan Dotson! That's a guy who needs to step up. That's a guy who needs to elevate his game, take it to another level. And there's our first touchdown. I thought that was going to get jumped by the linebacker, to be honest with you. But there we go. Career tutty number 1 for Jayden Daniels. Let's try to get Scary Terry and tutty here. Oh, it's close. Oh. We just do it ourselves. Oh, come on, McCaffrey. Oh, let's go, Luke. That rookie out of Rice. Gives the Commanders the lead, hopefully, into halftime. Getting to get this to Terry McLaurin on a nice slant. Come on, Terry. Throw it in reverse, Terry. Oh, he gets absolutely smashed by Antoine Winfield. And that's the second time he's been tackled on the goal line. There we go. Wasn't pretty. Finish that drive off. That should be enough. And that's a nice win, man. Bucs were a playoff team last year. And we'll get out of here with a victory. Of course, defense in Madden 25, sim defense. It's pretty, feels like we score, they score, but we're able to Persevere, Jayden Daniels, that man right there, 1-0 to start his career. We saw some good things, man. The run game played well. The pass game was efficient. No picks. It's only 60% completion percentage, but no interceptions, 2 touchdowns. Made some plays with his legs. Ryan Robinson went off. Probably could have fed him a little more. Scary Terry, no touchdown, but 74 yards. Luke McCaffrey, could be something there. Jahan Dotson gets nice showing. 2 picks, Jamin Davis and Bobby Wagner. Sack and a half from Louvu. Hell of a start to the season. At the midway point here of Jayden Daniels' rookie season, the Commanders are 5-4. We shouldn't be losing to the Giants, but in the battle of Jayden Daniels versus Caleb Williams 2 weeks prior, we did uglily, keep it there please, beat the Chicago Bears 11-10, which goes to show Dan Quinn got the defense here playing for the Commanders. And offensively, we've had, no player of the week performance or like that, but we've moved the ball well. As you look at our rankings, we have a top 10 offense, top 5 rushing offense. Passing offense is not brutal. Defense overall, almost top 10. So there's a lot of positives we could take here with the Commanders. Looking at our salary cap, looking at some contracts, we have over $100 million, so that is great. Well, that's our salary cap and our contracts. We have over $100 million, and we have clear targets that we want to re-sign. We got Rick Forrest coming back on a 4-year deal for the star dev safety. We got Jeremy Chin, who only signed a 1-year deal. He can stay healthy. If he stays healthy, he's a playmaker, man. We've seen Dan Quinn with some of those big safety linebacker hybrids have a lot of success. So we got Jeremy Chin on a 3-year deal, keeping him until he's 29. So we got him locked in for the remainder of his prime. Be a little bit of a hot take, but if Bobby Wagner doesn't retire and wants to come back for 1 year, it's just gives us flexibility if we can't draft a linebacker in the upcoming draft class. So we still got Bobby for a 1-year Band-Aid. And it's a hell of a Band-Aid to have. He can still rack up tackles, wear the green dot, and execute Dan Quinn's defense. We got Jamin Davis on a 4-year deal. Let's continue his development as kind of an all-around linebacker. Maybe at some point we decide to... He has pass rush skill sets. He's just a big-time athlete. Kind of reminds me maybe a little bit of like Baron Browning and how his development has gone for the Denver Broncos. But we'll continue that path. And lastly, we got Sam Cosmi. We have over $80 million in salary cap. Let's just, lock in Cosmi for the remainder of the rebuild. He wants a little bit more money, but we will pay it because, again, that guard tackle flexibility. So here's something you want to see. Week 12, we beat the Cowboys at home 31-25, and we get a Jayden Daniels 4-touchdown player of the week performance. But I will reiterate here once again, as we see late season, 3-point upgrade, I'm not going to say randomly, but just out of the blue. It's like, oh, wow, what happened here? Brandon Coleman, already up to a 77. That's a lot of XP. The season goals, like hitting that and achieving that, the XP is insane. You guys know, like I'm not cheesing the stats. Jazan Newton just went from a 77 to an 80 with a speed 1 singular speed rush, +3 awareness, +5 block shed, +3 power move. Cool. Cool, very cool. Then we get another 5 on Stromberg, who got 20,000 XP for less than 2 sacks allowed in the season. Sick. So the season ends, and we are unfortunately the bottom of the NFC East, 8-9, which I think looking at the Commanders' schedule, I think looking at the Commanders' roster, 8-9 is realistic probably for where they're at this season. We do finish with pretty good ranks in every department outside of passing yard defensively. But I do like the fact that we almost have a top 5 offense here in year 1 with a rookie quarterback. That bodes well for the future. Looking at our stats on the season, Jayden Daniels, 36 touchdowns, under 10 interceptions. Can't say for sure he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I know J.J. McCarthy usually plays really well for the Vikings, but that's a hell of a year. Hell of a year from Jayden Daniels. Get 1,000 on the dot for Brian Robinson, 11 touchdowns, 400 yards, another 4 touchdowns. So we finished with 40 touchdowns for the rookie campaign for Jayden Daniels. And I know I got people in my fantasy league. We've yet to have our draft. I'm intrigued with drafting Jayden Daniels in fantasy. Definitely wouldn't put him as your QB1, but I want him in that QB discussion. Put him on the bench and see what happens with the Commanders this year. Scary Terry going over 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns. Jahan Dotson, 950 and 10. Get 800 yards and 7 touchdowns from Luke McCaffrey, which is outstanding. Ben Sinnott with a solid year. I mean, I know we are going to have to pay Jahan Dotson at some point, but those could be our 4. for this rebuild, if we can keep that core together. Love the fact, our O-line played pretty well. Stromberg, under 2 sacks, got that huge 20,000. Would have been cool for Cosman to get something like that too, but we'll take it. Defensively, Bobby Wags, hey, as long as he wants to come back, we'll have him. We got him on a 1 year. It's in his court, whether he wants to retire or not, but he's still playing at a ridiculously high level. 130 tackles, 6 TFLs, 5 interceptions back in a Dan Quinn defense. 9.5 sacks on 14 TFLs for Luvu. 9 sacks, 18 TFLs for John Allen. 5 sacks, 11 TFLs for the rookie Johnny Newton. Armstrong was solid. Maybe a little disappointing for Deron Payne, all things considered. Interception numbers look great, which is Dan Quinn defense to a T. 5 picks, Bobby Wagner. 4 for the rookie Samerstill. 3 from, that could help. And he might be an interesting one for defensive rookie of the year. 3 picks for Chin. Happy we got him on a contract extension. 2 picks for Jamin Davis, who had a great season, all things considered. And 2 picks for Manuel Forbes, who bounces back just a little bit. For what it's worth, top 5 for a rookie quarterback in MVP voting. Real good start, real hot start. Jayden Daniels finishes his offensive rookie of the year, so we might have a chance at a double dev trade here. I think off of his stats and production, 40 touchdowns, he could get from star to superstar off that production. And because he won offensive rookie of the year, that could be a potential double dev. I'm not going to hype it up. I don't want to get my hopes up, but we could have from star dev where he's at right now. There is a chance that he is superstar come the end of the season. McCaffrey also finished in the top 5 for offensive rookie of the year. Defensive rookie of the year, Sager still at number 4. Jayden Daniels run up to Jalen Hurts for the best quarterback in the NFC. Frankie Luvu wins linebacker of the year. Surprise, I thought that would go to Bobby Wagner, but Luvu, being a little bit younger, got a bigger contract, more committed money. That'd be a great dev trade. I'd take that. And Samerstill and Chin making top 5 for DB. The pressure's on. I'm really, honestly, at this point, even ABC for the Super Bowl. Anybody but the Chiefs or Cowboys. If they win, cool, I'm happy with it. Eagles win the Super Bowl. Reed Blankenship gets the MVP. Like seeing that, obviously. But within the context of this rebuild, annoying that a team within our own division has won a Super Bowl, puts the pressure on us to get the job done. Now, we will look at the overall roster because there's other players that definitely could go up dev trade, but these are the big 2 because they won the awards. Frankie Luvu was star dev, and I think I like keeping him just as a run stuffer because spread his points around as a pass. He's a hybrid. He's a true hybrid, but he is star, 1 linebacker of the year, and we get the superstar dev trade. You'll love to see that. And last, we got Jayden Daniels, who statistically should, he didn't get it. Statistically, he should go up dev trade, and for winning offensive rookie of the year, should go up dev trade, but we will take the superstar. Man, I would have thought he would have got more XP than that. But it just shows you, man. Like, we got more XP for my left guard allowing 2 sacks or fewer than Jayden Daniels got for winning offensive rookie of the year. Is that weighted properly? I don't know. I'm not in the mood for a rant, but it's interesting to see the comparison. And Bobby Wagner's running it back for another season, and the Eagles got worse. Down Slay and Lane Johnson as they try to defend their Super Bowl title in year 2. Tell you what, I'm not going to pick up the 5th-year option on Jahan Dotson. Does not mean I'm not interested in re-signing him. He had a solid year this year, but $25 million, no thanks. With $85 million of cap, we have the potential to be interested and aggressive in the free agency market, but kind of looking at our roster, we need a tackle at right tackle and or guard, depending on, that right-hand side of the line. But I focus scout tackles for the upcoming draft. Like, that's kind of the direction I want to go with either our 1st or 2nd round pick. And there's just not much out there that I think really improves our team right now. So I think it's never a bad problem when the free agency sucks to keep your money so that it helps re-signing your players next season. Look at the lay of the land here for the draft. Jason Hudson, the top tackle in the class. We have him scouted enough to know that is not a top 5 type player. Doesn't look like the greatest tackle class. Again, another top 5 projected tackle. 1st, 2nd round talent. Not a bad player, but not great. We're picking at 14. So we're going to be able to kind of dodge the hype names at tackle and I think make an informed decision with the best of the rest, which we did do our scouting there. It's not the strongest class. As you can see, the 3 first-rounders at left tackle, 2 of them are not great, and the one that we don't have all the information on has D pass block for a left tackle, so I'm good there. I scouted the big guards because, you know what, the one aspect of cheese I will take in Madden is If you're built like a tackle, I don't care what position it says, I can play at tackle. It's Madden. But even then, Blaylock, not great. Not what you love to see. I think you gotta look on the right-hand side here. Adams is gonna be gone, but we have Larry Preston and Devin Jones, both getting first-round grades. Preston, AA, double B. So he's balanced, B pass block, B run block. The combine, bench press could be a little better, but he's a solid athlete. And in comparison, you take a look at the other tackle here in Jones, AA, double B, 6'8", a little bit better of a build profile, but I mean, honestly, this is double shot in the dark. There's nothing that's really deviating these two players. So, we'll say, looking at the mock draft, Preston at 21 and Devin Jones is going at 23. So I may entertain trading back in the first round for Giants, Chargers, Lions, Rams, Texans, Vikings. We can move back one of those spots, get additional picks, and still have the pick of the litter, the two tackles that look good. That might be best case scenario. We're going to break some bread with Dan Campbell, and we are going to trade back from 14 to 17. We also had to throw in a 5th and 4th round pick this year, as well as a future 4th. But we're able to trade back in the first round this year and pick up a 2nd and a 3rd rounder next season. And you know what? Not to just pivot last second because the clocks are running here. Everything kind of worked itself out. We have our two tackle options. But Sam Cosmi can play tackle. We just paid him guard money. So if we kick him out to tackle, we're getting a value there. That means we just got to find someone that can play in the interior. And I think out of all the linemen that are available, Terrence Adams out of Florida looks to be the best. Because it looks like he's going to be, but he looks like he's going to be the AA, double B, which is the same as the two right tackles. But the combine's a lot better. Elite agility, he's stronger than both of those tackles, put up better bench press numbers. So it's also a lot more easy to project him to move to a guard than draft him and say, I'm going to make him a tackle. So we could draft Adams, who's a better athlete, move him to right guard, and then kick Sam Cosmi from right guard out to right tackle. That's what we're going to do. Trust the athletes. This is the perfect example. 3 players that very well had the exact same letter grades across the board. Far and away, the best athlete was the center here out of Florida. Florida Gator bias in full degree. Dan Quinn, Florida Gator, as well, invokes that bias. And what do we got? Number 5 in true value at 17. Hidden Dev. It'll be interesting to see between him and those two tackles, if we made the right call. But next up, I do think Bobby Wagner, getting a successor there in the inside that can play with him and John Davis is important. This is a tough call. There are multiple linebackers who look legit. You got Blake Caldwell here, ran 4.5. Don't know the zone coverage yet, so probably want to chill there a little bit. We had Scott down here, ran a 4.42. Now, we do have 2 third-round picks because of that trade at the beginning, so I could take a couple swings here. 4.42, elite jumping and speed, but we also have 2 outside linebackers who also could potentially be very nice players. We have Lock Bomb, A pursuit, A tackle. Zone coverage, not as great as you want, but he also is pulling elite acceleration, elite speed, 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle, look like where you want to be. Then at left outside linebacker, we got... Where's he at? Right here. Nix. 4.49. Has the A zone coverage. Now that is compared to some edge rushers and stuff like that. But he also looks like an absolute block. I honestly think we take a couple swings here with these picks. Should grab 2 linebackers. Not the end of the world. We'll go with the earlier projected one. Hey, we get the dev trait. I'll come back for Lockman. The way I also view this is like, I think there's going to be a chance that our defense has some moving pieces, some fluidity. Because the plan is eventually to take Johnny Newton and move him back to D tackle. Gives us a hole at pass rush. Frankie Louvu, long-term contract, he could kick down to that defensive end position. And then that's going to create, well, we're going to need another linebacker. So I think we take a couple swings here. Lock Bomb still looks legit, looks pretty good. A pursuit, A tackle. We got the coverage that you fall in love with. Number 25 in true value. No dev trait. Which kind of stinks. but he's probably not going to play, so we're not going to at risk of losing a dev trait, and the rating should be pretty good. Top 25 player. And up next, we got my favorite generated role that you can get in a draft. Brian Robinson. It's probably going to be in our team's best interest not to pay him. He's good. He's going to be our starter, but I don't want to pay my running backs. Chris Rice, day 3. You always just look for the power backs. A in ball carry vision and break tackle. B carry, 230, ran a 4.43 at his pro day. Dev trade or not, he's going to be in the 70s. He's 26 in true value. No dev trait, but much like that linebacker we just drafted, I think there's potential there. Lastly, we need to grab a kicker, and we got 4 kickers that have A in kick accuracy. So, right here, generational. Elite kick power. He's going to have a hidden dev. Number 2 in true value. This is going to be an outstanding draft class. We're going to have no player probably below 75 overall. Before I even look at my class and gloat, I do want to see what we were dealing with. Larry Preston, 74 with a hidden dev. We passed on him. The dev trait is star. I can live with that. The other tackle, Devin Jones, 74 with a hidden dev, which is a star dev. So we passed last second on 274 hidden devs to get a 77 hidden dev here in Terrence Adams, which we are going to go right now and just make him a right guard. And we'll move Sam Cosmi, who's almost a 90 overall, to the right tackle spot. I can live with that. And look at the rest of our draft class. Nix, 71 with a dev trait. Lockbomb, 75 normal dev. Rice, 74 normal dev. And to cap it all off, a generational kicker, number 2 in true value. I'm going to guess that's probably a superstar. What a pick. So something I do want to kind of Q&A with you that are watching right now. Do you want me to interact with these and show these in our rebuild? Now, they are essentially like the biggest addition outside of like draft boards and stuff like that in draft presentation to franchise mode. So if you think that these add to the story that we tell in our rebuild, I will clip them and show them as they, impact and affect our rebuilds. If you don't care, because at the end of the day, all this does is take a franchise right now that I would make the argument is kind of easy to get XP, and essentially what it means is, at worst, if we don't hit it, kind of nothing happens. If we do hit it, it's just even more XP in a state of franchise right now that XP is pretty easy to come by. So if you don't really care about the cutscenes and stuff like that, I won't show them in the rebuild. But if it is something that you think adds to the story that we're trying to tell, I definitely will include more of them going forward. Give me that little feedback in the comment section below. And while you're here, hit the like button for those YouTube robots. Okay, I'm just upgrading I saw something here. I was just upgrading. We're week 5, 6, 4-1. Hot start. Not the hardest schedule game. Green Bay, though, is really good in Madden 25 Sim. So that is an impressive win. But as we are spending upgrade points, I just took a sneak peek at a dev trade. We got an X Factor. Adams at center originally, now playing guard. Superstar X Factor. Get your athletes. Tiebreak. It's the ultimate tie. If you're just only chasing athletes, you're going to get burned. But if you have 3 guys, which we did, and one of them stands out athletically, that is always the tiebreaker. I guarantee probably both those tackle. I mean, if they're a superstar, this is better. And they're probably both stars, which we checked. They're stars. So even if they weren't, it worked. So we rolled an X Factor in the draft. We are 7-1. We're about to enter a little bit of a, let's keep it here live. We're about to enter a little bit of a gauntlet here. We have Dallas and Kansas City, week 9. That's the measure. Because 7-1 against teams like the Bears, no disrespect, they're good. Cardinals, you're supposed to win. So we lose to Dallas against Kansas City, week 10. Don't be on fraud alert. Do not put my team on fraud alert. But if we lose to Dallas and KC, we are on fraud alert. Great. We did get 2 players of the week in a loss against Kansas City. Bobby Wagner up there. Jayden Daniels played well, as just silver lining, I suppose. in a shootout loss against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. With $135 million in salary cap, honestly, I think as long as he wants to keep playing, even though we drafted his successors, probably will retire. If I had to guess, he's going to retire this year. But no, we'll keep him. Outside of that, we got Brian Robinson here. That is a lot cheaper than I thought it was going to be. We can literally lock him in for the rest of this rebuild at $6 million a year. Not worried about that. I thought this was going to be $7-8 million a year. 9, closer to 9. I don't necessarily love the value on this Jahan Dotson contract, but I think in relation to our salary cap and not having to go find another wide receiver, I mean, he's going to be a good role player for us. We got Jonathan Allen here. Interest is very high. This is going to take a decent chunk of our salary, but I think even as he regresses, getting him locked in for the remainder of the rebuild, I think that's going to be important to our defense. And if I had to, just kind of thinking big picture about eventually moving John Newton into D-tackle, Deron Payne was always likely going to be the odd man out if it comes to it. This is a big one. Scary Terry, no interest. Really want to keep him. So I think we go up to 15 and 12 as an initial offer. I will go a little higher. I think 5 for 135. You don't want to leave as soon as we actually got a guy that looks like a franchise quarterback, the reigning defending offensive rookie of the year. So maybe a slight overpay, but we can't do a command. We can't at least do our first Madden 25 Commanders rebuild and be like, yeah, we let Scary Terry walk. Although that's settled, this is why you don't spend in free agency if you don't have to. We literally kept all of our targets. We still have $60 million. And I think something that's important in this rebuild, it's not just going to be like view this as anti-free agency, but the fact that all 4, because Jayden Daniels is a different thing. But we have 4 hidden dev rookies from that initial class that are all developing nicely. Coleman, Sinnott, Sandra Still, Johnny Newton. We need to pay those guys. Not a lot of draft classes. On top of the fact we don't have to pay Jayden Daniels because we're going to be able to kick that 5th-year option, kick that can down the road, and don't worry about it. But those 4 guys are going to have to get paid at some point in this rebuild. That's unique. Not every team has 4 rookies from that class that they eventually plan on paying. So I kind of think an element of us maybe being somewhat passive in free agency is knowing that we have to give out 4 probably pretty decent contracts coming up before the end of this 5-year rebuild. Maybe fraud alert. Pause just a little bit. Bounce back after the bye. Beat Dallas 42-21. And the good thing is pretty much anytime we come up a big win and it's a player of the week, that player of the week is Jayden Daniels, which you'll love to see that. Ooh, that's what we need. 2-game win streak. We're up to 10 and 6. Winnable. I mean, Detroit, that's an impressive win in the context, but as you can see, you get New England, pretty bad. Broncos, pretty bad. We need to wrap this up. We go 19-13 over the Patriots, and it's Mike Sainristil, the second-year player out of Michigan, 11 tackles and an interception. Let's keep it here live and see if we can get 11 wins on the season, win who we're supposed to, and go into the postseason with some momentum. You don't want a crushing nonsense loss, kind of halt all of your momentum, and then you give us 0 faith that we can go on a run. And Rudolph, all right, lose to Denver, who had nothing to play for, but we still found a way to make the playoffs. 10 and 7, second in the East, 5th seed in the NFC. Ranking wise, offensively took a step back, defensively took a step forward. We got top 5 defense in the NFL. Jayden Daniels, 36 touchdowns as a rookie, sophomore slump, which is known to happen. 4,600 yards, 27 touchdowns, only 6 picks. Disappointing to say the least. Under 1,000 yards for Robinson. 14 touchdowns, ain't too bad, but we did just pay him. 4 and 3. So, I mean, Jayden Daniels kind of is what he is as a rusher. We get 30 touchdowns, I suppose. Contextually, we get, 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. That I would probably say we all can agree, minimum of what you would want to see from Jayden Daniels. And understanding the sophomore slump can be a thing is what it is. Luke McCaffrey led the team in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. Scary Terry, 8-8. Not what you want to see after paying him $100 million. And he had 1,000 yards and double-digit touchdowns last year. Ben Sinnott with a solid year. Jahan Dotson, we just paid as well. Everyone just kind of took a step back. Defensively, Bobby Wagner continues to be elite. John Allen, 14 TFLs, 10.5 sacks for X Factor, 5 sacks for Ron Payne, 5 for Dorrance Armstrong, 16 TFLs, 3 sacks from Lubu, 13 TFLs but only a sack and a half for Johnny Newton. Interception numbers still fairly solid. Emmanuel Forbes just really turned his career around, leading the team with 4 picks, 3 from Jatavius Martin. Yeah, I mean, for whatever it's worth, Jayden Daniels still making the short list for MVP. So maybe we're being a little harsh on him. So I kind of guess what it comes down to. Do you want great individual success and no playoffs, which is what we had in year 1, or make the playoffs and it's more of a team effort than it is your good players playing really well? I don't know. Depends. If we can go on a run here, I'll probably take the latter, as we have a winnable matchup against the Saints. We are better in every area, but that doesn't always matter here in the wild card round. Knowing that our offense has stuttered this season, I assume we lost. Yep, of course we did. Not only of course we did, the only thing that's good about our team's our defense, and we let 38 points up. I mean, 3 touchdowns in your first playoff performance, not brutal. But, I mean, look at the yards. 150 yards passing. We couldn't run the football. We got 2 receiving touchdowns there. Ben Sinnott, Luke McCaffrey with a touchdown. But defensively, man, these guys really let us down. Brutal. ABC is back. Anybody but the Chiefs. Psych. They're back, and they're Super Bowl champions. But for us, we know we got a X factor in the draft, but dev traits was Jayden Daniels. I mean, again, he's statistically 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, was top 10 in MVP. But there is a chance that you always could face a little bit of regression if your quarterback plays like that. He keeps his superstar. Unfortunately, we lose the dev trait on Scary Terry, which, I mean, I don't know. I can't even, like, well, should we have paid him or not? You're always going to pay him in that spot. You just hope that he can bounce back, and the offense as a whole can get back to where they were a year ago. Defensively, as far as dev traits, the Rick Forrest from star up to a superstar. And I think we have found out a retirement, as both Austin Eckler and Bobby Wagner have hung their cleats up. Oh yeah, and obviously our kicker, superstar dev. Nice. And you know what? He's played good in this rebuild, so we are going to pick up the 5th-year option on Emmanuel Forbes. Looking at the free agency again, $100-some million. The fact that we are making the playoffs with that much available salary cap is impressive within its own right. But even with the retirement of Bobby Wagner, we drafted his successor last year. There's no area of concern, no real regression. The only thing, you know, maybe make the argument losing Austin Eckler. Maybe do we invest in another running back, especially with Brian Robinson not necessarily popping off, even after he got paid. But, you know, you got King Henry there, and I don't really see any needle movers that are worth spending our money right now. Going in the draft areas, I would say of concern, Biotis is probably not getting another contract, so if we can get a nice hidden dev center at some point, I think that would be pretty cool. That's about it offensively. Defensively, I like all of our starters, but we look at like guys who could be getting into replaceable territory. Dorrance Armstrong at pass rush, certainly into that discussion. Jeremy Chinn's not getting any younger either. And I will say, I mean, we are picking at 22. Scouted some linemen again, but I think the guy that's the most interested right now, we also got this speed rusher out of Texas. Daniel Gibson, first round talent, has A finesse move, B tackle, 6'1", 263. Athletically, has an elite acceleration, great change of direction, so he's going to have good agility, great explosiveness. Could be a little stronger, but this is probably where we go, I think, in the first round. And let's do it. And with this trade, Dorrance Armstrong does have a dev trade, so could be an intriguing trade piece to move on from. Just get younger at that position. Daniel Gibson looks pretty good. And I would say athletically, the profile should make us feel optimistic of a potential dev trade scenario. May not be the best in terms of true value, but honestly, I couldn't really care less. But it's cool when everything's a perfect storm and you get true value and you get the dev trade. But at the end of the day, I will take dev trade and a massive reach in the opinion of the game versus, say, getting the 5th best player, but like a 77 normal with a limited ceiling. So it gives it 13th in true value, getting him at pick 22, and we get the dev trade. Let's go. So we have pick 19 and 22 in this draft as a result of us trading back in last year's NFL draft. Let's hit on these picks. See if we can grab a center first. And we ended up scouting 2 centers, the 2 athletic ones. One didn't turn out the best results, but one definitely did. George Kuhl out of Miami. A little bit undersized, 290, 3 A's. A pass block, The combine is pretty good, top 5 in essentially everything you'd want to be top 5 in. So welcome to the Commanders. Got to be a dev trait player here. We're getting the stage walk. I don't know if there's a tell to this, but I have seen in a couple late round picks, if they have a hidden dev, they tend to get like this anime. Dan Quinn loves the selection. He knows we just got to steal. 33 in true value. Get him at 51. Oh, never mind. Take away everything I just said. No dev trait, which stings on a lineman for sure. So we're talking about Jeremy Chin. Now we're in like blind pick territory. I don't know how this guy is still available. First, second round projection. Has B-Man and B-Zone, which are wins. Great build at 5'10", 225, so he's a bigger player. And the combine is not amazing, but he's still third in the 40-yard dash. Top 3 in 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. Top 3 in vertical jump at the combine. I think now that we're in a spot that's, you know, we're blind picking, so it's not the end of the world if they're not a great player. This looks like a can't miss play. Maybe no dev trait because the combine wasn't great, but the combine wasn't bad. There just wasn't the elite rules that you sometimes want to look for. So 14th in true value, falling into our lap. No dev trait, but good player there, and he's not going to play right away. And that's the risk that you get if you get a hidden dev rookie. If they sit for the rookie campaign, they might lose that dev trait anyways. Now we're just picking out our ass here, for lack of a better term. I'm going for athletes. We got a tight end here, Ben Sinnott. Maybe there's a chance we can't afford to re-sign him. His contract's coming up. 6'6", 250, has B run block, B catch in traffic, has elite strength, and he ran the fastest 40 guy. He had a 4.5 at 6'6", 260. I'm taking a swing on an athlete like this. Even if it ends up being butt cheeks, that is a great athletic profile. Damn. I'm going to grab the other center that I scouted. Just, you know, there's clearly 2 good centers. What are the odds both of them don't have dev traits? Very unlikely. And then with that, you know, he could... Ricky Stroman, he's going to have to get a contract soon. Maybe, you know, preparing in case we can't re-sign all the guys that I assume we can. Last year's class was an all-timer. This year's class is solid for sure. Solid for sure. We got 71 hidden dev center. I'm surprised, man, that tight end with that athletic profile was, I don't want to say disappointing, but not as good as he probably maybe should have. I feel real good with Jacobs kind of falling into our lap in the second round. 75 overall. Cool, no dev trait, but 74. Gibson in the first round. Anytime you get hit like that on a pass rusher and you don't have to trade up, you like to see it. Now we need to make the corresponding move. Let's try to see what kind of value we can get for Dorrance Armstrong. And the Arizona Cardinals pony up a 4th round pick for the 80 star dev pass rusher. We'll take it. So these are where our team is at as of year 3 for the Commanders. We're going to go with Kuhl at center. And the O-line is awesome. We're seeing good growth. I mean, what I would want to see here is I'd love to see the passing offense get back on track. Let's get Scary Terry, force feeding the ball, try to get him back up to a superstar dev, maintain the superstar. If not, take it to the next level with Jayden Daniels here and get him up to an X factor. Defensively, we're going to still keep Johnny Newton at pass rusher along with our 1st round pick, Gibson. Luvu's going to need to step up as well. But Nix and Davis, hey, hopefully you learned something from Bobby Wagner, because we need you guys to really run and control the middle of the defense. We got Chin and Forrest at safety. Martin's going to play in the nickel with Forbes and Savers still on the outside. Complete team, definitely a playoff contender. And it would be pretty cool to get maybe an NFC East title this year. All right, decent start to the year. 3-1, beating the Rams and Texans, 2 playoff caliber teams. Player of the week performance, is it Jayden Daniels? It is Jayden Daniels, 3 touchdowns. Let's go. All right, 2 back-to-back midseason NFC East wins. We are sitting at 7-2. We've had good records and kind of slipped up down the backstretch of the season, but hopefully that's where we see the sign of progression with this squad, that we can maintain a hot start. We got a player of the week performance. It is Jayden Daniels, 5 touchdowns. Never crazy passing yards, though, which, you know, you like seeing 1,000-yard receivers every now and again. Now, I don't want to call it a masterclass, but the way that we've been able to draft and develop our homegrown talent has given us to a spot where we haven't had to spend in free agency, and every time it comes to re-signing our players, we've had at or around $100+ million of cap. Now, I think we have an interesting decision to be made here on Daron Payne. Production-wise, he's been solid, but that's expensive, and he's not showing any interest in coming back to the team. So I think it might be time that we take Johnny Newton, who's been playing solidly at D-end. We can move him back to defensive tackle to play next to Jonathan Allen. We drafted that pass rush in the first round. And then we can either make the decision of kicking Luvu, who is kind of at his ceiling right now. He's almost 30 years old. Kicking him down where his right now he's a speed rusher. Put him down on the line. And then we have to draft a linebacker. And I feel like in my head, we can make all of those moves. It's like, do I want to, for the state of my salary cap, draft a linebacker? Probably not in the first round. Let's say second or third round that could develop into a starter. Or do we want to pay 29, soon to be 30-year-old Deron Payne, 12, 13, 14, 15 million dollars a year? I think it's time to move on. We'll get our nickel, Jatavius Martin, locked in for 3 years. We'll get Ricky Stromberg, who's developed excellent for us, locked in. As I said with Louisville, we'll go with him as our pass rush. 85 superstar. Now, there's a chance. Let's see if we'll take it. There's a chance that he'll take this money and we'll lose that dev trade. That's my worry, is that he'll lose that superstar this offseason. Maybe not even due to anything on field. Maybe it's just that age at going for 29, 30. But I think our plan will be to do that shuffling around, and we'll put him on the line as a pass rusher. But even if we're worried about that contract coming back, and we can pay Deron Payne if I wanted to, we still have almost $100 million of salary cap. But I'm not gonna try to spice things up a little bit on the defense, especially if we underperform this year. There's still an element of, can we continue to just do the same thing and expect different results? Or maybe we let Deron Payne walk. Who knows? Maybe Aiden Hutchinson sometimes shows up. Maybe we say, screw it. Screw my plan. Let's pay Aiden Hutchinson. Let's pay a big-time pass rusher to come in. Maybe that's what we're missing, because sacks have been an area of concern. As we close out year 3, we go 11-6. And even though, again, the trend of, just finishing not good, not on a high note, 2 straight losses to solid teams, but not great. We got Dallas still around, but we did win the NFC. So our first NFC East title, we had the tiebreaker over Dallas. I think we might have beat them twice in the regular season. At least we would have split it. That's an even matchup right there. Looking at the rankings, we have a top 5 offense, top 10 defense. So does the Cowboys. So Jayden Daniels, 36, I think he had 40 total touchdowns as a rookie. 30 touchdowns last year. And then out of nowhere, it's just like, we'll go back. We'll get 40. We'll have 3 picks. Yards still aren't ridiculous. And I'll also put my best season as a rusher. So he goes with 43, 4,400 yards, 46. He might be MVP. Which, it's not, we did Bryce Young so far in the Panthers rebuild. He developed nicely, but never played like an MVP. We did Drake May in the Patriots. Now, that was on an earlier build. Things could have changed under the hood. But still with Drake May, did we win offensive? We might have won offensive rookie there, but that was kind of it. Obviously, both those quarterbacks ended up winning Super Bowls, but we never had the production that we've got out of Jayden Daniels out of our quarterback, which that's always a little bit of a worry. I think, especially as a content creator, because if essentially every player, every quarterback can kind of get developed into a 40 touchdown a year quarterback, it's a little boring. So it's cool that Jayden Daniels has definitely stood head and shoulders above production-wise Bryce Young and Drake May. However, where's the consistency? I'm a little bit worried. Year 1 and year 3 this year, awesome. Last year, still finished top 10 in MVP voting, but he was at number 10 and only had 30 touchdowns, and we had to combine his passing and rushing. So where is the true line of Jayden Daniels? Hopefully this is him. He's up to a 90, I think, right now, 91. So hopefully this is turning a leaf, and I think off of this production, we should be optimistic that he is going to become a superstar X Factor. What a nice year to Brian Robinson. 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. We'll take that as a complimentary option. Receiving, Luke McCaffrey in the slot is, hey, he's been stuck on a normal dev. That should be dev trade increase coming his way for the slot wide receiver, which clearly eats here in the Commander's scheme. Scary Terry with, still think in a perfect Madden sim world, the wide receiver one will get the, how hard is it? Under the hood. I don't want to kill him. It's cool that we have Luke McCaffrey kind of coming out of nowhere. He's a sleeper right now. I might be targeting him late in my fantasy leagues. He might be a better player than Jahan Dotson. Okay. But I just feel like it is a trend and a theme that we've seen in the sim. How hard would it be? Like a control C. I don't know anything about coding. But if you play enough Madden, you watch enough Madden, you know that 10 release slot wide receivers put up big time numbers in the sim. How hard would it be to control copy whatever the code is for the slot wide receivers to eat, and control C and then control V that onto like the wide receiver ones in the stat line in the sim. Like, does that make sense? Like, I feel like that would be, because I mean, if you switch the roles, if Scary Terry went for 1,300 yards and 14 touchdowns, we'd go, oh, that makes sense. He's a beast. And then, hey, if Luke McCaffrey went for 70 catches, 900 yards, 6 touchdowns, I'm like, hell yeah. Out of a 79 normal, that's a hell of a year. Either way, I love Benson at the tight end, finishing with 11 touchdowns. That's cool. Defensively, Jamin Davis and Knicks had to step up, man. We had to have these guys take over for Bobby Wagner. No one guy would take over for him, but these two collectively, I love seeing 9 TFLs there on Knicks. Our sacks continue to be an area of concern. 9 sacks. I mean, from a D tackle, these are great numbers. 4 sacks from Newton. Hopefully he can step up next year with our plan to move him back to D tackle. Luvu, kind of a hybrid. Gibson, the rookie, just couldn't really get on the field a whole lot. We have his dev trait. He hasn't even played 500 snaps yet. I'm going to guess because of his development hasn't popped off. Even with our weekly training, focus training, he's probably a star. Interception numbers are solid. They've been pretty good this year. Jayden Daniels, top 3 in MVP voting. And of course, in the first round of the playoffs, we play Dak, who laughably is the MVP. Of course he is. I mean, come on. They win everything. Give Dan Quinn Coach of the Year. Jayden Daniels gets robbed for Offensive Player of the Year. But at least he wins QB of the Year. And I have no worries that he will not go up to his X Factor come this offseason. Luke McCaffrey is runner-up for Wide Receiver of the Year. Our X Factor, Terrence Adams, wins Lineman of the Year. That's cool to see. And we also, for the shortlist, for whatever it's worth, our rookie center makes the top 10. Well, that's shocking. First round of the playoffs, we lose to the Cowboys. Well, Commander fans, much like me as an Eagle fan that play a lot of Madden, you can take solace in the fact that they're not this good in real life. Nowhere near this good in real life. A little mantra here. We'll see what we can catch on. The ABC Super Bowl look. Anything but Cowboys or Chiefs. Brutal. Not looking good for year 3. All right, looking at our squad. Jayden Daniels up to a superstar X Factor as expected. And I think for the final 2 years of the rebuild, that should strap the rocket to his old butt cheeks there in terms of development. And I think we might have a shot at getting a 99 quarterback. Elsewhere on the offense, Luke McCaffrey has jumped from normal up to a star, but no one else gone up or down. I thought Sinot with 11 touchdowns might have had a shot, but, you know, quarterback beat an X Factor, that's big enough. Defensively, however, John Allen lost his X Factor. Gibson, who has hidden dev, is only a star. Luvu keeps his superstar, and we're going to move him down to pass rush, which should help. And Derek Forrest just continues to go up dev trait. Started as a star, got superstar last year, and I guess got X Factor somehow. Not going to complain. We need it. We're going to pick up the 5th-year option on Jayden Daniels just so I can have that extra money to spend in year 5. So John Newton moving from, I mean, it's boosted here a little bit, but he was an 86, goes up to an 89, moving him inside to defensive tackle. Luvu, 86 at outside linebacker. Does drop 1 point overall to an 85, but the boost keeps him up at 86. The reason why we do that is because there's no big-time pass rusher that we can go grab here in free agency. But you know what? A little interested in trying to spend. I'm going to see if we could swoop in and steal away the draft class from the Detroit Lions a year ago. I mean, okay, Branch is the one we wanted because we are starting to worry a little bit about the age of Jeremy Chin. He's at that spot. He's at his ceiling, and he's probably only going to get worse. So Brian Branch, who brings great versatility. He can play safety, he can play corner. That's a great get for the team. So with pick 19 in the first round, we are really in a spot where it's BPA. I did focus scout Stinson here. Just, you know, you can... Luvu is up there in age, and he's probably going to regress between year 4 and year 5. And I got to think about the best team that we can put out there into year 5. Stinson was the only pass rusher that was going to be available into the 20s. Doesn't look the best. I mean, and really with this draft, we are in a BPA scenario. I did look at some of the corners this year. This is where we scouted, and this is where we got our value. We have 2 options. Obviously, top 5 there. We'll take a look. But you got Boss, who, you know, A, 3 Bs, combine. It's not the best. Solids, you don't really love to see that. But the amount of times, and it's still early enough to not say that it means something, but A-man, A-press is ridiculous. It's 6-1. Combine, pretty good. the amount of times, and I've had people tag me in Twitter saying, like, I got top 5 true talent, but there's no dev traits. That was an issue in the last, like, 2 Maddens ago, where, like, anytime you'd get the A+ best, they're almost always normal dev. I hope I'm wrong. Hey, yes, sir. Let's go. What a pick. Let's add another body to the running back room. Kadeem Andrews. Again, we're in the spirit of picking BPA. A, ball carry vision. A, carry. Elite jumping. Good speed. Great acceleration. I'm interested. I'm interested to see what this is. And he is top 10 in true value. Let's go. Guy's a stud. North Dakota State. What? And look at our draft recap bangers, dude. We got 70 corner in the 6th round. 75 wide receiver, 4th round. No dev trait here, but we got guard cheese taking the guard that had double A, double B. And as we saw for the picks, Kadeem Andrews, 76 hidden dev, and Parham, top 5 true talent. I mean, crushed it. Just kind of look at the draft. It was a year to get corners. Virgil Bryan, 82, 4th pick. 81 for Kalen Carter. You want to know just something that's fun? Something kind of funny? Ooh, 69 normal 1st overall pick. Ooh. After 2 nice wins in a row over Dallas and the Miami Dolphins, against Miami, we get a Player of the Week performance from Jayden Daniels, which, if this is sign of anything, we're going to have another MVP type season. At least be in the area code, maybe push top 3, if not outright win it. After a shootout victory over the Philadelphia Eagles, we have our first breakout of the rebuild, year 4. Pretty stingy here for the Commanders as far as in-season breakout scenarios. And we've had, Luke McCaffrey's been crushing it. He hasn't a single one pop. And I'm kind of hoping this is for him. And visually looks like that's probably who this is. But after getting a star dev, Luke McCaffrey, of those McCaffreys, $125 will increase his dev rate up to superstar. Doable. And off a 30-26 victory, Luke McCaffrey at the lion's share of the targets, which is still not in a perfect scenario. I want those going to Scary Terry. But we have got on Christian McCaffrey's brother. I'm getting choked up about it. He is now a superstar dev. What a development. Damn, that looks good on him. But there's no way. We get another one. We just beat the shit out of the Jets by almost 30 points. Oh, man. If we can get him up to an X factor in one season. He's the sleeper. So let's keep an eye on that. So while we're here, actually, let's see if we can beat up on the Chiefs before we talk about some con. We're 7-3. We're sitting pretty. We're one of the top dogs in the NFC. 8-3 1-point victory over the Chiefs, where we get a Player of the Week, Jayden Daniels, 5 touchdowns. And this is a Commanders team headed into their bye week, firing on all cylinders. Number 1 offense in the NFL. We'll ignore what our defense says. All right, this is going to be a tight one. A lot of players I want to re-sign. Not an insane amount of salary cap. All right, we got Emmanuel Forbes, who's developed into a little bit of a ball hawk for us, locked in on a 3-year deal. We got Brandon Coleman at left tackle, locked in. No, we're running out of funds. This is not good. I need you as well to stay. We got Luke McCaffrey, the new superstar wide receiver, locked in. Mike Sammer still rebuys into the project, at least for one more season. But now with under $10 million, Ben Sinnott at tight end. Again, would have been cool to keep everyone from that draft class, but if we have to cut someone, I mean, he's been good. He had 11 touchdowns last year, but I do think our tight end production is replaceable. John Newton on the other hand, he can't go nowhere. We gotta, maybe look at restructuring some contracts at the end of this season, but we'll find a way to make that contract work. We close up year 4, 13-4, big dogs. Another NFC East title, our 2nd in a row, and you look at it, we have the number 1 offense in the NFL, and you better not try and run it on us. Please don't pass it on us. Okay, Jayden Daniels went nuclear. 4,800 yards, 47 touchdowns, 5 picks. Had 400 on the ground, another 4 touchdowns, so he's probably MVP. Easily the best stat line we've seen out of any quarterback we've had in Madden 25. I don't think Drake May had a 41 once. Can't recall, and I know we didn't hit anything like that with Bryce Young. God damn. That's like the touchdowns, though. Honestly, I'm almost more impressed with the yards. That's like 800 more yards than what we've had at any point. The offense, the running back. This is our probably best rushing season. On top of all that, we also had 7 touchdowns there from Andrews, the backup. Receiving 1,500 yards from Luka McCaffrey on 92 catches, 14 touchdowns, 1,000 for Scary Terry, 13 tuds. Ben Sinnott, that is painful that we can't afford to keep him because that is a hell of a year. 82 catches, he's going up depth chart. We're going to lose out and can't afford a superstar tight end. Phenomenal. Defensively, Nix and Davis did their jobs. I was about to say, if this was Jayden Newton because we can't pay him, he had a breakup. But look at that. Moving Frankie Lou from outside linebacker to defensive end. Good God. 64 tackles, 14 TFLs, 18 sacks. Now, I always kind of think in a way, there's some people that watch these rebuilds being like, you know, you were planning on doing a Commanders rebuild at some point. Like, oh, I'm going to maybe like, let's see what C4 did. And then I know what to do in mine. Or maybe I'll pick up some tips and tricks that I can apply from what I've seen here today. Like moving Johnny Newton to DN to start his career. That worked out pretty well. Should work out well for you guys if you want to try that approach. But I think we need to consider moving Frankie Louvu immediately to one of the defensive end spots because holy shit. Diamond Davis too at linebacker, stepping up. Haven't seen that many interceptions since year 1 with Bobby Wagner. Davis needed to be that successor to Bobby Wagner. Finally doing it here in year 4. Easy MVP going to Jayden Daniels. He also wins QB of the year, but that was our only other award winner. And Frankie Louvu got absolutely robbed. What did Micah Parsons do? Of course he did. Of course. Oh, first game of the playoffs against the 10-7 Saints. I mean, they got a good offense. 88 overall offense for the Saints, led by Chris Olave. It's pretty decent. And we're going to win after a couple L's. We're back in the win column here in the playoffs, 36-18. I feel like our offense is certainly firing on another level right now. Not a lot of yards, only 109. But we were efficient with 3 touchdowns. We could run the football pretty well. And we played nice defense. Couple sacks, couple picks. The LA Rams in the divisional round, 12-5 for them. They're balanced. They signed JOK in free agency. Puka crushed it, 1,800 yards. Puka Nacua on 130 receptions, 1,200 yards. Kyron Williams. They have a good offense, better defense than we do. But we have a better offense. We average 6.5, whatever, more points a game. And we utilize that, baby, with a win. And I am only 2 rebuilds into the NFC side here in Madden 25, but it does seem like a lot of Green Bay Packers going deep. But that is a nice win. Defense came through on that one, 20-8, sorry. Ooh. Don't want to see that from Jayden Daniels. This is not a good game, and you're turning the ball over. Excuse me, sir. Can't be doing that, Mr. MVP. We've done enough on the outside. Let's have at least play the moments. Get a front row seat to this matchup. Number 1 offense, number 2 offense. Belonging to the Green Bay Packers, should be a shootout. Should be a good one. I want to see 49-45 to the good guys. Game like that. Opening drive, we had to settle for a field goal. Not great. Green Bay marching down the field, trading field goals. I will say this. If it does come where these 2 offenses get canceled, I do like our defense more than I think their defense can take this game over. But, hey, oh, how do we get no points there? End of the first half, touchdown for Green Bay, and they've started the second half with all the momentum. 2 straight touchdowns. 3 straight touchdowns. And the NFL MVP, Jayden Daniels, with the Super Bowl on the line, quite simply did not play like an MVP. Nowhere near it. 17 points. 2 great offenses entered this matchup, and only 1 showed up. And now we go to year 5. It's all or nothing. Hey, at least we lost to the Super Bowl champion. And we'll use that to motivate us, pain and suffering, to come back year 5 with a vengeance. We did get more salary cap just outright, so we're going to give Jayden Newton a whole lot of money. Now, with 2.5-ish. Where's Ben Sinnott? Of course, went up dev trait. How much money do we need to clear for just 1 year? 8 million bucks, that's doable. We're gonna get about half of that by restructuring Scary Terry. Should be able to get it here with a Frankie Louvu contract extension as well. There we go. I had about 7 million bucks to spare. Sinnet is locked in, so we're able to keep all that homegrown talent here for the full 5 years. Very important. I wanted to do that. All right, so while the salary cap was tight, we're able to really not have any issues offensively. Maybe you can make the argument the running back room doesn't have that absolute game changer, but Jayden Daniels is playing with our boost from our OC as a 99 overall. Dotson's still good. Scary Terry is regressing into the ground, but he's still a valuable player. And Luke McCaffrey got his X factor anyways. Had an opportunity to roll double depth trade, didn't hit it, but off of a season where I don't know if he got any awards or anything like that, but breakout season nonetheless. He might have a higher rating than CMC right now. And looking at the defense, Jonathan Allen has very similar to Scary Terry, just kind of regressed down in the dirt a little bit, but still not bad for a defensive tackle too. It's the Jerzon Newton show. Rest of the D-line is outstanding. Louvu absolutely shouldn't have gone down dev trade, but he is 31, 32 or whatever. So that's just the nature of Madden. But you look at this defense, this is an outstanding defense. And the fact that last year we're going to bump him up here. Parham, the corner, superstar dev. We have crushed it with the dev traits here in this rebuild. And he's going to be a big-time playmaker, big-time contributor for us for hopefully going on and winning a Super Bowl next season. For the record, Luke McCaffrey is a higher-rated player than CMC. Wow. Because it's the last year of our rebuild, and we desperately need to do everything in our power to go ahead and push this team forward to a Super Bowl. I don't know if any rookie from this class would contribute, would start for us. We do have technically kind of like a normal dev outside linebacker that, you know, we're working through. And I fully scouted what looked like the best player in the draft when we saw his letter grades. DeMar Smith, the middle linebacker out of Michigan. Top 5 talent. I think there's a chance he could potentially be an upgrade. Maybe even just dev trait wise, abilities wise. So I'm gonna try to trade up here to pick 17 so we can snipe him from the Seahawks. I'm kind of looking at the needs here. Detroit needs a starting guard. I have a pretty decent starting guard. 24 years old, still 3 years left on his contract, rookie contract, 75. Ceiling's like an 80. And I'll give you my first and second round pick. Oh, they have no money. Will they take that anyway just for the picks? Oh, okay, we gotta... You know what? I'll sell out this draft. Let me just get that linebacker, please. Thank... Oh, you assholes! All right, we pretty much had a Mike Dick of this thing for Ricky Williams. But we got it done. You better be worth it. Said anyone that's ever traded up for a freaking middle linebacker in the first round. Oh, he's the #1 player in the draft. That's why you do it. At pick 17, hidden dev DeMar Smith. What is his rating going to be? I don't think I've seen a linebacker in this game higher than 78. Oh, shit. Let's go. 81. Oh, I don't think it matters. I want to just know what his dev trait is. It's year 5. If his dev trait's not... He's going to play anyways. Let's see if we can get... I'm spoiling this. Because it's not going to matter what his long-term dev trait is. We have him for a year. But did we just get... We got a generational linebacker. Holy shit. Let's go. 91 speed, 91 acceleration, 85 tackle, 85 pursuit, 82 awareness, and 84 play rec as a rookie. 72 zone coverage. Agility's decent. Catching's decent. I don't think there's anything you could possibly... Jumping, I guess. He doesn't have that freak 90-some plus jumping, but... Holy. Okay. That makes it 2 X factors. We drafted niche X factors. Niche middle linebacker, and our only other X factor we've drafted, right guard. Originally a center. Put a cap on this. I suppose that opens a question. You know, no one's drafting middle linebackers in the first round anymore. It's kind of becoming a devalued position. But, like, in hindsight, if you knew the next Roquan Smith was going to be at pick 17, would you trade your first, second, third? Would you trade essentially a whole draft to get a Roquan Smith? That's kind of what we just did. You coward, give me gold. Give me gold, you coward! He's earned it. This kid's a freak. Oh, run him down. Boom! That's gold medal. Smith. Oh, light up. Oh, look. And there he is. Good teammate. Gets his running back some confidence so it's not complete one-way domination. He's showing the signs of a leader. All right, so here we go. This is the team that's going to win a Super Bowl. Jayden Daniels, correctly. Now there's no boost. At his core, he's a 97 X Factor. Adams, not as much. A perfect 97, but it shows he's a 97, so we're counting it anyway. And Luke McCaffrey is our new wide receiver 1. Defensively, we hope to have London Fletcher. He's probably, what, the best linebacker they've ever had. I want the reincarnation of that in DeMar Smith. But you look at our defense, maybe not ridiculous game changers. Got 2 superstars at corner, Martin and was he first rounder last year? I can't remember if I got him in the second. He was definitely our first rounder last year in Parham there. But complete team. We got the special teams. We have the best kicker in the NFL in McCraw. We're deep with our specialists. We can rush the passer. Freak athletes. You know what? Let's give him. He needs to be out there. He needs to be playing. And with the X Factor in the slot, 13 wins. First round bye. Let's see it. And then your 5, all or nothing. I wanted 13 wins. We got 10. Beat the Eagles, beat the Bengals. So we're finishing with momentum, which hasn't always been the case in this rebuild. We finished with a almost top 10. Definite regression. We had 20 more touchdowns with Jayden Daniels last year. What happened? What? 20 touchdown drop. I know Scary Terry regressed. There's no way it's on him. Yards plummeted. What is the difference in these numbers? Nope, don't care. Actually, you know what? I do care because we'll make him a perfect 99. Our first 99 quarterback. Congratulations on something that Drake May and Bryce Young didn't even really get remote. I think we got like low 90s with Drake May. Anyways, but I digress. Look at the yards difference. Our lowest yards per attempt, our lowest yards per game. Why was last year such an anomaly? We did throw the football more, I suppose, but like not a lot more. We were sacked more last year. Picks have been consistent, but my God. Pretty much 20 touchdowns. And I'll, just be over. Where did that production go? And the only thing I was going to say that makes sense is like, oh man, we must have just ran the football a lot this year. No, ran it less effectively than we did last season. Luke McCaffrey continues to be our best player. Jahan Dotson's regressing. I mean, maybe that's it. Scary Terry and Jahan Dotson just fell off a little bit, and maybe like just that some thresholds weren't met for our team to pop off in the sim. Bizarre. Worrisome a little bit. Like, why? That is such a... I've seen 6, 7 touchdowns. 10. 21. Was it 21 touchdown difference? That is a different player. That is like he missed half the season due to injury difference, and he played every game. Jerzon Newton, 17 TFLs, 13 half sacks. What a beast. Very happy able to get that contract figured out. 9 sacks, Lewis, 6.5 from Allen, 5 from Gibson. Interception numbers lower than what they have been. But let's take a look at our 5-year stat window and who's done what in this rebuild. Overall, Jayden Daniels, 19,000 plus yards through the air, 176 touchdowns, only 28 interceptions. So how accurate he's been and the lack of turnovers has definitely been what's propelled him up to an X factor. It's been consistent. Brian Robinson, 6,900 yards rushing, 63 touchdowns, almost 2,000 yards for Jayden Daniels, and another 20 touchdowns. He's been awesome. He's did everything you could ask for a dual threat quarterback. Scary Terry, kind of annoying, didn't break 10,000, but I imagine he's not retiring, so he will be. If we did one more year, he would break the 10,000 mark, which is very impressive. 67 career touchdowns, almost 5,800 yards for Luke McCaffrey, the X Factor, with 56 touchdowns. Jahan Dotson was a solid wide receiver 3, and Benson Ott was a reliable tight end 1. Defensively, Jamin Davis, just under 700 total career tackles, we got 79 sacks on 130 TFLs for John Allen, 62 sacks for Luvu, 30.5 from Johnny Newton, 12.5 from Gibson. And on the interception front, obviously Brian Bench did some of that with Detroit, but we got 11 picks from Emmanuel Forbes, 10 and 10 from Davis and Martin. And actually, just well, because we drafted a generational kicker a minute ago. What is he? He has not been generational. 78% field goal percentage. That is out of the league. He's been riding on that dev trait. All that being said, our playoff journey starts with a team that was one win above 500. And the LA Rams still have a really good defense. I'll give them enough respect that we'll auto-upgrade our players before we get into that matchup. Ooh. That's a lot of upgrade. A lot of milestones were hit. And I mean, I was going to say, we are the better team in this matchup. 91 overall, 93 offense, 80. But that is a really good Rams team on the other side in terms of base rating. They're almost a 90 overall. CPU teams are usually closer to 85 than they are 90. But we get the dub. And we don't have our first L. I think we went 10 rebuilds in Madden 24 before we had a rebuild not give us a Super Bowl. I would hate for that streak here today to end at 3, but if it does at the end, you know, it's cool that it's the Commanders. I'm fine, perfectly fine losing as them. But we've built a good enough team. It would suck within just the context of football not being able to bring a Super Bowl to what we built here. Jayden Daniels, not his best performance, but no turnovers. That kind of cost us last year. Did have a rushing touchdown. Ben Sinnott at tight end, so work in the middle of the field. Defensively, a sack from Gibson. No turnovers, so just kind of a professional win, if you will. Interesting, the 1 seed Saints. They got Joey Galloway the second. The Saints have just completely retooled. Chris Olave did not have a particularly great season, 755 yards. So, like, what are they? Who's their running back? How are the Saints? Like, are we in someone else's rebuild? The Saints are one of the worst teams in the game. How are they this good also in this same five? So they drafted a freak quarterback. But they're not, it's Dameon Pierce. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Okay. X Factor. So they drafted an X Factor wide receiver. You still have Olave, who's an absolute stud. They drafted a beast at tight end. Their O-line's awesome. Defensively, Brian Breezy has developed nicely. Okay. Good team. And they got Jeremy Chin. He knows our secrets. He's going to spill the beans. A shot at the NFC Championship game. He's on the line. And a weekly. Let's go, baby. Jayden Daniel, 4-touchdown performance as the best team in the NFL. 35-21. Wasn't even close. What a game. That sets up a NFC Championship matchup against the 11-6 San Francisco 49ers, where I think, because this is Super Bowl or bust, we hop in, we play the moments, try to not interfere. Love to we should beat them. We are the better team. But if we have to, we may have to give a little kick in the ass. If it's a complete ass kicking, I'll take that out. But if it's close, back and forth, say last drive, ball midfield, go win it, I might not be able to resist. I know the Niners don't have Brock Purdy. He went to the Patriots in free agency at some point. So they got random quarterback number X. And the Niners start this one out hot with the first touchdown of the game. A little worried. Our team has not performed the best when the bright lights are on here in the Super Sim. But we're able to tie it up. And then, of course, the Niners score 10 unanswered in 2 minutes of the first half. Oh, my God. Come on, fellas. Not even close again. Come on. Come on! Yes! They did it. I'm proud of them. I thought I had to come in. I thought I had to come in and throw a bomb to Luke McCaffrey and spoil the best win you can get, which is my team in what we know is usually a broken sim, defied the odds of said sim, and we're too good to be denied the Super Bowl appearance. And that is exactly what we did. 4 touchdowns, Jayden Daniels, 28-24. The Commanders are going to the Super Bowl. And record aside, we got to respect the Ravens. They got Lamar Jackson. Went off. Kyle Hamilton's a beast. Roquan Smith, even though we drafted mini Roquan this year, he's still there doing the damn thing. Number 6 offense. They're better team than us. They are. We're going to use that motivation because we know talent-wise, we're a different level. We're a different area code. I can't play defense in Madden right now. Zones are broken. I'm a zone fiend. So until the patch comes out, which is coming, because now it's today, they're working on it. I'm gonna put on the OC hat. And we're gonna help them out. Gotta queue up something. I don't know what I don't know what the playlist of the day is. We'll let you guys get the player intros here. Maybe a little Kodak Black time. Go Gators. Let's go. Let's go to work, baby. This is what we want. All right, defense. Great job, fellas. Oh, my God. Line is getting wrecked. I don't know. One team came to play today, I guess. Come on, we need the defense to inspire us. There we go. They get to stop. Oh, oh no, I don't like the way this is going. I don't. It's just, yeah. Here we go. Get into the slants. Shocking, that's the best route McCaffrey has in his book. 3rd and 19, and I think we definitely are in 4-down territory. Got him. Come on. You're still at your core, a 99 X-Factor quarterback. We really should have to be doing 4 verts, 4th and 19. We had a play there. Scary Terry, dial one up. Turn the clock back, Scary. Oh, and we're just gonna let him house it. All right, cool. Man, this is unreal. I'm knocking difficulty down. We're not. I need to get entertaining. I don't think this is entertaining. Come on, Johnson. You might get cut in real life. Can you please make a play? And there's just no chance. That's my right side too. 98 right guard. I think Cosme's 88, 89. And they're getting absolutely smashed. Like, why isn't there a star under my ant? Is my backup shit? Am I playing? Is this the preseason? And we're just playing with all my, let's see. Here's my O-line right now. 89, 89, 90, 99. Where are like the stars? Shouldn't they have stars underneath them? Shouldn't they have abilities that are rocking and rolling here? I gotta tap out. This is unbelievable. Speechless. That's it. Fraud alert. This team's fraudulent. That was absolutely a dog shit team. I'm not in a good mood. My last 2 rebuilds. College football, we did the Mud Dogs from the Water Boy. And then I was like, you know what? Commander's roster's pretty interesting. I think that'd be a fun Madden 25 rebuild. I think we could do a lot of good things there. And then just literally do everything right from what I can control in a rebuild. Develop the players we're supposed to develop. Drafted studs, multiple studs. Manage the salary cap to keep everything together, to have the super team, have this team that clearly should be walking to Super Bowls. The only thing that makes me feel decent is I came out and then they scored just as many points when it was the computer. Unbelievable. I don't know. Speechless how that game wasn't, I didn't even have a chance to keep it competitive. Got under pressure within 1 millisecond every time we snapped the ball with Jayden Daniels. No one wanted to go slow wide receiver core. Obviously, I have a certain play style, right? We run the air raid, so you better be able to run the air raid. And outside of Jahan Dotson, I felt like for most of that game, we just didn't have any speed. We weren't able to win with speed. McCaffrey, more of a slot guy. You know, honestly, that should be more than enough speed to get going there. And obviously, Scary Terry's an old man at this point. So it took 10 rebuilds to lose. And by lose, I mean not win a Super Bowl. 10 in a row was the streak. And I always try to build a streak. Ends at 3. Goddamn Commanders, man. Fraudulent organization. Let me know who we rebuild next, fellas, in the comment section below. Have a couple things I personally want to get to. I think Tennessee's an interesting one. I think the Raiders are an interesting one. Oh, you know, Colts could be cool. Maybe if a Brandon Ayuk trade happens to a Steelers, that could be. Still have to rebuild the Eagles. A lot of options. Would love to hear in the comment section below which team you think we should rebuild next. And while this rebuild didn't finish the way we wanted to, I still hope you enjoyed today's video. And if it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button for the YouTube robots. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace. I love you. Have a good one.